Pennsylvania's state system of higher education. 14 universities, infinite opportunities.
Hello, I'm Frank Brogan, Chancellor of the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education, and welcome to another installment of Infinite Opportunities. This is our opportunity as a system to talk to our viewers about our 14 wonderful public universities scattered throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The great 100,000 students, the faculty, the staff, the administration, and the accomplishments of each. Today we've got a very important topic and something perhaps a little different for our viewers. We're talking about graduate studies, life, as we like to call it, after the baccalaureate degree. And we have three important members of our panel who are with us today. First, to my extreme right, Dr. Darren Cass, who is Professor of Management, MBA Coordinator at Bloomsburg University. To my immediate left, Anthony Grande, who is a PhD candidate, one of our students at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, and Dr. Joanne Migyanka, who is the Associate Professor of Special Education at Indiana University, and you two are friends, so it's not a coincidence that the two of you are here today. Thank you for joining us, and I'm going to go right into it, and I'm going to start with you, Dr. Cass. Can you tell us a little bit about your perspective on graduate education?
I think lately graduate education has become even more important for our undergraduate students. We've seen more and more recent graduates go into graduate education because they're recognizing that this was a study that came out a couple of months ago that 30% of jobs that only required an undergraduate degree now require a master's degree. So graduate education is in the forefront of both recent grads as they start to look at job opportunities, and then also people that are out in work and are looking to come back. They realize they've hit a ceiling maybe, or there's an opportunity that they're looking to reach for, and that master's degree is that might be holding them back. So we've got an interesting, very recent graduates in graduate education, and then those that have been out in the workforce for a while looking to really advance their careers.
Anthony, you're a student, as I mentioned. How about you?
Yes. So, I came into this from an education background. I was a music education and a music dual baccalaureate. I kind of got interested in the world of school psychology and, got an opportunity. I taught for a little bit, both student teaching, and then was a long-term sub before getting accepted. Earned my master's at the end of the summer, and so I just got accepted a couple weeks ago into the PhD program for school psychology.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So that's just sort of my, foray into this is just.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Dr. Migyanka, you've been at this a while.
I have been at this for a while.
What's your take on all of this?
Well, it's interesting. I want to build on what you said about people coming back after they've had experiences and they've been in the workforce. And so when they come back as a graduate student, they want very meaningful interaction within that graduate program. And many of our students are looking for a way to help finance that. So they want teaching assistantships or graduate assistantships. And how do we make those really meaningful experiences for them? They're not your traditional undergraduate student who's there and really kind of for the first time soaking up all that knowledge. These are people who are bringing such an array of experiences, so they have something to offer us as well as what we have to offer them. So looking at ways to make their experiences very meaningful. And we were talking earlier about technology, and that becomes a little bit more difficult if you have online master's programs and graduate programs. So Anthony works with me in one of our programs, and he is an amazing team member. I really want to say team member. He's not a student. He is truly a team member.
Now, that's an interesting perspective, and one of the differences that you see in graduate studies versus undergraduate studies in many cases. This is a great time to go out and visit one of our universities. All of our universities are engaged in graduate studies, master's degrees, doctoral programs. Let's go to Westchester University and see how Westchester is addressing the issue of graduate studies.
I think there are two things that make us different from other institutions. The first is that our graduate programs are absolutely focused on preparing individuals for specific career pathways. And then we have, for the past 5 years, been very focused on accessibility. We understand that It's no longer about asking students to come to West Chester University. It's about us taking our excellent education to the students wherever they are, whether that be in the school districts to prepare the next generation of advanced practice teachers, whether it's taking the MBA program to corporations, whether it's meeting a student actually in their living room through online education. The graduate education at West Chester University is really an endeavor that happens both inside and outside of the classroom, and we have a full array of services to serve both of those needs. So if you need a book from the library, an article, we'll actually mail it to your home, and we'll provide you a return postage envelope. If you need to go to the Writing Center, we don't expect you to come to campus. You can engage with a Writing Center consultant online. So again, it's us taking this accessibility piece very seriously and embedding it into everything that we do. Just this year, I'm proud to announce that we have over 7 programs that have bridged pathways between the undergraduate and graduate experience, meaning this will shave off a year for students. So in 5 years, they will be able to graduate with a bachelor's and master's, and they will be very prepared early on in their careers. So when I think about graduate education at West Chester University, I think about 3 words: engaging, relevant, and empowering. Our programs are engaging in that they create an opportunity for students to meaningfully interact with the course material and apply it to everyday situations that will be beneficial for them when they enter their careers. In terms of relevance, the university has recently added 4 doctoral programs that are meeting not only employer needs, student needs, but also community needs. We are pleased to announce that we have a doctorate of nursing practice, doctorate of public administration, a doctorate in education, and a clinical doctorate in psychology. And the common theme among these 4 doctorates is they prepare individuals to practice at the highest levels of their profession, but also they're meeting community needs. And then empowering. Central to everything we do here at West Chester University, especially as it relates to graduate studies, is creating an educational opportunity that empowers students to be the best they can, to provide them the opportunity to achieve their life aspirations, and to really leave here an individual who is prepared to succeed and achieve the greatest goals they've set out for themselves.
Invest in me. Invest in me.
Invest in me.
Invest in me.
Invest in me.
Invest in me.
I'll be your future public servant.
I'll be your future advertising executive.
I'll be your future accountant.
I will be your future motivational speaker.
I'll be your future lawmaker.
I will be your future teacher.
Invest in me. I'll be your future videographer.
Welcome back. And today's topic is graduate education. This is something that some of our viewers may not be as familiar with as the traditional undergraduate baccalaureate degree seeking students deal with on a daily basis. So we've got 3 very important guests with us today. First of all, Dr. Darren Cass, again, who is the professor of management, the MBA coordinator at Bloomsburg University. Anthony Grande, a PhD candidate, so our student today from Indiana University. And Dr. Joanne Magyanka, who is associate professor of special education at Indiana University as well. Thank you all again for joining us. And I'm going to start with you this time, Anthony. The whole issue of online education, of course, is sweeping the world of higher education. Sure. You chose Indiana University. You have a blended program of in-class and online opportunities presented. Why IUP, and how's it working out for you?
Well, I mean, for me, it was IUP just for, of course, I did my undergrad there, but also the regard for the program that I was going into, school psychology, you know, coming from there, just there was a lot of praise about the faculty and everybody that works there. And having been in it now for a year, I can see why. But so it's sort of blended. I have mostly class, traditional classrooms. So, where some graduate schools you can do, the benefit of having an online program would be you can still work. Ours being the way it is to get the certification for school psychology and everything and the master's degree, it's not really, you have to be a full-time student. So while I do have a blend, I've been fortunate enough, currently I'm in an online class with Dr. Majanka, and having her, she has a very well organized setup, so it's very easy to use. So, the reason why IUP would be just the program itself and everything, but in terms of online classes, I certainly see the benefit for people who want to continue working, but for me, it's not really feasible to do
understand.
that. Right.
Understand. That's the beauty of the blended is you have two opportunities, whether you can or you can't. Doctor, in overseeing a program like that, it has to be importantly tailored for the individual student, I would think.
It absolutely does. So our master's program in special education is all online. And we have students who are moms and teachers and full-time workers. We have people out of Anthony's program. We have grad students who are maybe doing a blended program as well. So we have a variety of students who can get on to do their studies at different times of day. So we have to make it very user-friendly. It's difficult, and it's something I know when I first took my first online class, I remember sitting down at my desk crying, if this is what online is, I never want to do this again. And that really drives me to make sure that my classes aren't like that. So I try extremely hard to do interactive things, group projects. I narrate every PowerPoint that I do so that I can give my personal stories, the way I organize it. One of the challenges for me is, I still do student evaluations. I don't need them, but I do them. But you don't get the feedback from your online students, which is really frustrating. You might have a class of 32 students and get 4 people respond. And I use those very heavily to tailor that online class. So it's difficult when you don't get that kind of feedback. So I'm fortunate because I do work with Anthony, and I'm always asking him, Anthony, what can I do to make it better? What can I do to make this?
Nice to have that.
Yeah, it's very nice to
Very
have
much
that
so.
that we can make it more interactive.
Very much so. Dr. Cass, in the MBA program, which is such a powerful part of the changing market of online education especially, you see a proliferation of MBA programs on a national scale. How does Bloomsburg adapt its program to make sure it ultimately, hopefully, is the program of choice for students?
I wish I knew the answer to that, ideally. Well, I think when there's a crowded marketplace, doing the same thing that everybody else is doing is really probably not a great strategy. So we just launched our MBA program in Philadelphia, and that's a crowded marketplace. And in order to reach students and be somewhat distinctive, we went with an accelerated weekend format. So we offer classes, they're 6 weeks in duration. You're in class Saturday from 8 to 4, and then you're online in between. So you can take a class every 6 weeks. We offer 2 classes every 2 months. So students can do 1 year, they can do 2 years, they can do 3 years. Our schedules are out 3 years in advance, so you can plan every Saturday when you're going to be in class. And we weren't sure how it was going to go. It's one of those things where you hope for the best, but students have reacted really positively. They love blended. I don't know that our, online is a future opportunity for us that we're really seriously looking at, but this has been a really nice format. And once you do something differently, it's easier to try something else that's different. So we came into a crowded marketplace, did something different, and our students so far have reacted very positively.
And of course, because graduate students are, if you will, non-traditional students, they typically don't live on campus, and they have to accommodate work schedules, family schedules, et cetera. Accommodating the curriculum is a very important part of what you all do, and we appreciate that. Let's take a trip. Let's go to Edinburgh University and see how Edinburgh is addressing the issue of graduate education.
The graduate school at Edinburgh University is changing the world by producing people who are committed to the helping professions and improving the quality of life for everyone.
As practitioners, we're not just delivering a clinical service, but we're providing a resource to a community, that we're part of a larger community.
The children are the future, so I want to help create a more beautiful world in the future, and I think a good way to do that is to have a positive influence on children.
I would like to work on a college campus in an academic support or academic advising setting. And so I chose Edinboro's program since it does have a counseling basis. You do learn how to build those relationships with students, which is especially important. I feel like having that background and those skills through this particular program will really help me work with students and help them develop.
The counseling program, I think one of the exciting things for us is one of the trends in counseling in general and certainly in the human service field is online education and telepsychiatry, telecounseling, teletherapy. And I think it's really exciting that as our online programs are growing, that we're really preparing students for these new trends that are emerging.
We have moved very strongly into online graduate programming so that we can extend the reach of those programs to students across the Commonwealth and actually across the country.
The availability of both online and face-to-face programs help our students work and learn at the same time. So in an online environment, what's ideal is what might be a 50-minute class on campus for discussion can be a several-day discussion thread in an online environment. It's more thoughtful and more inclusive. So they're able to do both, which is very helpful for a graduate student today to keep working and be advancing their career, improving the quality of their life.
Our art therapy program is our newest fully online program. Many times our therapists can work with somebody who's been through an extreme traumatic event and help them take their creative side to really being able to dialogue about it, express it, or create something that helps them organize that experience in a really meaningful and powerful way.
For some of our clinical mental health tracks, students will be placed in drug and alcohol facilities in Erie, or working with traumatized youth, or working in personal counseling centers on other college campuses. Students really get out into the community and make Edinboro's presence known.
In their internships, we expect students to not only that they're going there to learn and gain something from that experience, but they're also going there to give something.
We make about 45 million pounds of chips in a quarter. That equates to about 200 million pounds of potatoes, which is quite a few. What's interesting with M&T is they're a small town bank, and as we've grown, they've also grown with us. They've got the resources that you would need in order to go big, but they also have that friendly local community feel so that it makes it seem easier than it probably is.
Welcome back to our program, and today, of course, we're talking about graduate education, that is life after undergraduate education. We're talking about master's degrees, doctoral programs. So when students come back and need to upgrade their skills, add more educational opportunity, it's the world of graduate education to which they turn. We've got a very special panel with us today, and I'm going to go right to our next issue, which is the issue of graduate assistantships. This is something unique to graduate education, but is still a very important part of it. And Dr. Midyanka, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what makes up a graduate assistantship?
Well, typically for a graduate assistantship, we have our students who will assist faculty in some way. The benefit for them is that they get a small stipend and also get some tuition relief. And that's important for those students who come back, maybe give up a job. They're going to need some financial assistance to do that. But even for those who are not giving up a job, but could use an innovative way of being able to help fund some of their graduate coursework that they're doing. The key thing here is making those graduate assistantships meaningful for them, so that it's not, oh, go copy things for me. Yeah. You know, something that's
Get
really
me a
meaningful.
cup of coffee.
Yes, exactly. That's enhancing their education, and I think therein lies the challenge.
Yeah, Dr. Cass?
I agree with you. You know, our graduate assistants tend to be on the younger side because they're full-time students that have come back and dedicated themselves to finishing their degree. And so you want to find something that helps them when they sit down for their first job interview, that on their resume it wasn't that I got coffee or made copies, that I was helping conduct research, or I was doing some marketing strategy, or I was working on a consultancy with a professor. So they're a really great tool to help bring in students. They're a great opportunity for students with a tuition remission and the small stipend, but you hope to really do something that benefits them in their career.
And Anthony, as a student and a full-time student, as you've mentioned to us, while I'm sure that stipend separates you from starvation,
very minimal.
The graduate assistantship, has that been an important part of your academic program?
Oh, huge. I work with Dr. Majanka, and she's a co-director with Dr. Nickelbein in the Labyrinth Center, and we work with students with high-functioning autism at the collegiate level. So, I mean, first off, in terms of the, the money portion, I have a 20-hour, so all of my tuition is paid. And then there is a stipend that comes with that. But so, of course, that does mean I'm not really capable to go out and work. So, I'm in my office a lot. I do a lot of work with actual students, which is really my biggest thing. I do academic and life coaching with the students we have there. So it's real-world experience. We were just talking about that on the way up, actually, just how fortunate I am for that. And additionally, I do work with them on some curricular development. I've been fortunate enough that they listen to my input. They could just, say, oh, go make copies, go get me copies, something like that, but they don't. And they constantly, not only am I learning from them, but they just are always there to guide me and give me specifics and listen to what I have to say, which is...
So it's a real on-the-ground experience.
Yes. I feel like I'm actually it's a professional setting, it feels like. It's not just classroom, it's a real working sort of, environment, and what we do has real consequence and real benefit for the students we have.
Fantastic. Well, this is another opportunity to take a visit. We're going to take Dr. Cass home for this visit. We're going to Bloomsburg University. So let's see how our friends, other than Dr. Cass, are faring at Bloomsburg University on the important issue of graduate education.
What are you going to do after graduation?
Communication disorders isn't something that people tend to learn about in elementary school or at high school career fairs. The way people learn about this field is usually some sort of personal situation that they dealt with, both audiology and speech-language pathology. The master's degree is entry level, meaning that in order to enter the profession as a fully qualified professional, you have to have the advanced degree. For speech pathology, the degree required is a master's degree. And for audiology, the degree required is the clinical doctorate. And we offer both at Bloomsburg University.
It's going to be the post-baccalaureate degree, which separates that student from the rest of their colleagues.
We're working with people who need our services, whether they have a problem with hearing or speech and language or swallowing. We're uniquely qualified to give them the assistance that they need.
There is simply the opportunity for personal growth. For most of us as we move through our lives and our careers, it's important for us to be engaged.
There's really nothing quite the same as seeing that your efforts have helped a person to either communicate better, hear better, or swallow their food again after you've worked with them for a little while. We have 3 full-time supervisors who do hearing assessments, we do balance assessments, we do ABRs, full range of audiological testing and dispensing of hearing aids. So we're providing the full range of services. We accept insurances, so our students not only learn how to provide the care, but they learn about the administrative piece that comes with that.
There's data that shows that the unemployment rate for people who are at a post-baccalaureate level shows a substantial reduction.
Well, our National Association administers an examination that individuals must pass in order to gain their national certification. And our graduates have a 100% pass rate on that examination. We also have 100% job placement in our fields. I would like to think that a big reason our programs are so strong is tradition. We have a long history in the community, in the region. We were among the earliest programs in the state. We're one of a very small number of clinical doctoral programs in audiology in this state, and the only one in the state system.
Don't wait. As you get into certainly your junior year, you should start to be thinking ahead of, and that is a time in which now you can really give full consideration to these graduate degree programs. By putting in just another 1 or 2 years of concentrated work, you're going to end up with a major benefit of this that's going to last throughout your lifetime.
Welcome back to our final segment on this edition of Infinite Opportunities, where we're talking about graduate education. 3 great people with us today on our panel, and I'm going to turn immediately to Dr. Darren Cass, who's Professor of Management, MBA Coordinator at Bloomsburg University. We want to talk just very briefly about some of the challenges that we face with our programming, our students keeping up. Darren, would you like to talk about that for a moment?
Relevance is really important to us. It's our mission in our MBA program that really our students add value when they get into any organization, whether they're currently in one or they're going to move into an organization. And so to add value, you've got to be relevant. And things change in business quickly, a lot faster than they do in academics. Academics tend to be, we're a little behind what happens in industry. So we stay in touch with our graduates, with those that hire our students, and let us know, what are we missing? What don't they have? What skills do they need that you're not seeing? And we changed our program in a big way in 2010 and 2011 because we didn't have enough leadership development that was happening. And so students had great technical skills, but they weren't great at leading and working with teams. And so we really modified our curriculum in order to stay on top of that.
Relevance.
Yeah,
so
relevance
very
is key.
Important. Dr. Joanne Medyanka, Professor of Special Education at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. The challenges that you face as a faculty member these days?
Well, we have a couple of challenges. One is the relevance as well is a little easier for us because in education they have to do many practicums. We're out supervising in the field, so that helps us stay a little bit more relevant. So that's not as much of a challenge for us as attracting the students to our university by providing things like graduate assistantships where they have some extra money and making those very meaningful for them. And then going to the online has been a real challenge for us, especially if you're teaching a methods course, how to teach a methods course for teachers who have to go out and then replicate that when you're in an online format. That's challenging at times.
Yeah, and Anthony Grande, who is a PhD candidate at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, as a student, the challenges that you face.
Well,
where to begin?
Where do we start with that one? I mean, obviously there's just the content should be more rigorous generally, and there's a lot more expectation placed on you, as there should be. The financial part, it kind of depends on where you're coming from with this. So me as a full-time student, yeah, I'm going to have some different challenges in terms of, I have to live out there. I can't work because, between schooling, my GA, I'm working probably, 40, 50 hours a week with that and homework and all that. So, being financially responsible is part of it. So there's a lot of challenges inherent within that and again, that's going to be different between being a person who's out there currently working versus somebody like me who's doing it day to day.
Well, you all 3 have brought a great deal of information to the table, and we appreciate you being with us very, very much on this installment of Infinite Opportunities. And to our viewers, as always, thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll come back for the next edition of Infinite Opportunities. I'm Frank Brogan. Thanks for joining us.
Come back next week to learn more of the infinite opportunities at the state system's 14 universities, or visit us online